Hi, Patrick from Combat Australia. I'm going to talk you through the setup of all the accessories on your Rotunda Longbow or your Rotunda Recurve bow. So here I'm going to open up a longbow. And there we've got your aiming device, your string, your setup instructions and target, 3 arrows, the bow limbs, the aiming device, the Allen key, and the centre piece, which is the riser. So I'm now going to unpack all these pieces. So we grab our riser. This is a right-handed riser. We know that because as we put our hand on the hand grip, it's much more comfortable in the left hand, which means we pull the string with our right hand. So this is a right-handed riser. And we know we're holding it the right way up because the black piece for the aiming device is on the top. That's a right-handed riser. Now if these pieces come off, no big deal. We're going to just sit them there until we put the limbs in. So the way they go is flat, that piece against the wall. They'll only go one way anyway. Then grab the limbs, it doesn't matter which one, and put the limb like so. Grab a nut and a washer and just tighten that up by hand until just tighten that up by hand, and then once you've done that you can tighten it up with the Allen key to go as tight as you need to, and then all you need to do is repeat that both sides. Just a word on putting the limbs on recurve. It's the same thing. The only thing we get support calls about is people putting the limbs on around the wrong way. There is a right way and a wrong way for the limbs on a recurve. Now, I can see what the front of the riser is because it's got this hole here for the stabiliser. There's no hole on the back. So with the hole piece at the front, we want the limbs to be screwed in so they're pointing towards the front as well. So as you can see there, it curves around like that, bulges in the middle and curves back around. If your recurve bow looks like it's all going the one direction, you've set it up incorrectly. So it should be so that it's pointing down in the direction of where that black hole is. So it recurves like that, bulges in the middle and recurves again on the other side. If you can imagine these twisted the wrong way, then the whole bow will be curving in one direction. And if it's all curving in the same direction, you've set it up incorrectly. The arrow rest gets bolted to the outside of the bow, or I should say the right hand side of the bow, but the arrow rest itself is on the inside of the curve. If you can imagine, it's between the bow and the string. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the second hole. We want that to be completely flush, which it's not. We want that to be completely flush so that we've now installed our arrow rest. The next thing we're going to install is the aiming device. This is the aiming device. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the second hole. You can use any hole you like. The second hole's good for general shooting at about 40 metres. If you want to shoot further, you'd use the furthest out hole. So I'm just going to use the hole from the second from the end. Now as you can see, this can go in either way, so it doesn't matter. So we tighten that up. This piece here goes on next, and we want to make sure it's not upside down. So the numbers at the top there, 1, going down to 7, so it's going to go that way. The other important thing is, it can't go on that way because it's only got the nuts on one side, so it goes underneath. Now you'll have 2 screws supplied. Just put the washer on those screws. like so. And you will need a Phillips head screwdriver for this part, it's not supplied with the bow. Not too tight, it is plastic on plastic after all. And the last piece is the aiming slider. So, the pin sight, I should say. So with the pin sight, this piece here allows you to slide it up and down. So we want to make that loose to get it on. This piece here is going to be facing down. And test and adjust as you go. So when you're doing your shots, just test and adjust to make sure it's all correct. The last thing we're going to set up is the string. We only put the string on when we're shooting out in the field. You don't want to have it in the cupboard with the string on. It'll lose its tension. And if you're at an archery range all day and you stop for lunch, you probably would take it off even for a half an hour break. Now there is a top and a bottom to the string. And that's important because you want to make sure the serving bit is where the arrow is going to click onto. And the way we find the top and the bottom is we just align these to make it halve it. And as we can see, it's more on one side. So that's the top. So now, that being the top, I can attach the bottom to the longbow. So I've attached the bottom there to the longbow. And the next part is a little bit tricky. What I do is I lean it on the ground, I put my knee into it, and then I put the string on and let go. And that's how I've put the string on. That bow is now all ready to go.